Avicedo referenced Vygotsky's notion that the best way to understand human behavior is to study its history and development process of an individual's practices or experiences. This view can support the notion that our thoughts process is a continuous phenomena which evolves from the past through the present and leads into the future. This renders the past, present, and future inseparable. Along these lines, Avicedo would agree that understanding learners' existent patterns of practice or learning participation enables us to speculate how new experiences can be molded into their existing knowledge base or pattern of thinking. An individual's historical patterns of participatory practice are defined as continuities. As a result of continuities, discontinuities happens when accepting a new idea where activity renders a formal pattern obsolete. Despite the negative connotations of the word discontinuity, no thought process emerges in isolation or is permanent. Through the flow changes or thoughts, learners can negotiate their established ideas with other localized ideas and experiences to continuously produce new understandings. Sauer delineates new knowledge must be constructed from existing knowledge. Similarly, Krahenbuhl argues that learning takes place through a process in which knowledge is built on a foundation of prior knowledge, and thus that learning is results from the experiences and ideas. Piaget proposes that understanding of surroundings is built through direct interactions with the environment, and teacher is a provider of learning opportunities. This suggests that there is a need for authentic learning environments. Environmental factors play a critical role in what an individual experiences. In learning, understanding a learner's prior knowledge and experience is essential. It is not uncommon for teachers to create student profiles by asking simple questions at the beginning of the school year. This may include a student's interests, cultural background, native tongue, whether they have siblings, favorite subject. This information helps the teachers to familiarize with the student's dispositions. Understanding a student's learning needs and wants help teachers best personalize curriculum, which is conducive in maintaining the student's learning interest. Continuity of learning and active engagement is one of the goals of education, which empowers one's learning journey. In this regard, Avicedo highlights the nature of situational interest. By his definition, situational interests are ephemeral interests that emerge unexpectedly from a variety of environmental factors. For example, culturally, socially, materially, psychologically, etc. Often, we are triggered to do something by what our world is offering us, and which extinguishes shortly afterwards. This trigger psychological state can be defined as situational interest contributing to focused attention, increased cognitive functioning, persistence, enjoyment or effective involvement, and curiosity. Triggering situational interest is an authentic way to prolong one's ongoing participation in an activity. So as mentioned, a variety of domains come into play along the path from situational interest working in conjunction with or translating into an individual interest. So it follows that referencing one's environmental factors and history, for example, prior knowledge and experience, would be conducive to perpetuate learning as it allows us to accurately fuse a triggering source into a learner's deep-seated interest. So this paper is about the alumnus from the multi-year Lang Science program at the American Museum of Natural History and how their experience was influential afterwards. So the authors investigated how long-term participation in the museum-based out-of-school time science program shaped the STEM interest and motivation of young women of color and their ability to pursue and persist in STEM majors. So youth applied to participate in the Lang Science program at the American Museum of Natural History in the New York City. When accepted, these students participate in about 165 contact hours per year, meeting for 3 weeks in the summer and on alternating Saturdays during the school year. Lang offers diverse STEM-related experiences, allowing participants to engage in different ways of participating in science, including hands-on activities, scientist talks, visit to the museums, research labs, and the collections and field trips. So 8 cohorts participate in the program, 6 participate in the interview. Surprisingly, by the time when the authors track students into college and career pathways, all participants were either majoring in STEM fields or STEM careers. Although this study is based on a very small sample, it offers evidence that intensive OST interventions can be highly effective in supporting the trajectory of underrepresented students in STEM. The design of the life science program is critical to the effectiveness of long-term participation, which identifies that one's present experience is a function of the interaction between one's past experiences and the present situation. In order for teachers to understand students' past experiences and use the knowledge and better monitor students' improvements as the school year progresses, there are several ways we can collect or learn such information. One apparent example is reviewing students' report cards and records from the previous years. Student profiles can be a helpful tool for knowing your students' learning styles, interests, and ability so that you can program to help them be successful in school. A profile allows you to develop a clear understanding of who your students are and how they learn best. The advantages of students' profiles are offering teachers a place to start, providing a starting point for instruction, and allowing for different types of grouping. To develop a class profile, teachers can gather information on students, organize the information, select strategies based on class profile, and implement differentiated instruction, and reflect upon data and revise instructional strategies accordingly. So in an art classroom, the information could be gathered through surveys, student-teacher conferences, free sketch, pop quiz, show and tell, and etc., etc., etc. So survey questions can include what is your favorite art genre, what mediums have you used or comfortable using, rate your competence in arts making. Another example that can be applied to any classroom setting is the storytelling. Storytelling allows you to interact with one's past experiences and the present situation. Further, we can learn through others' experiences or their perspectives when the stories are shared. Stories communicate and implement knowledge and wisdom to all who dare to receive it. Activities like storytelling can build a collective identity, belonging, and ownership tied to a physical place, and build a positive learning environment, and broad exposure to various topics. All could be the elements that are highly effective to long-term participation of learning. So think about the moment you find learning interesting. Example, riding a bike, cooking, driving, snowboarding, speaking new language. Which was influential to your current interest, profession, or skills? And tell us what triggered and prolonged your learning and your pursuance.